In the far future, there will be only war.
The chains are broken.
This will be a good hunt.
Through the dark veil of space-time.
This is Warp Chatter! Stone and steel will speak.
Let's get
All right. Well, here we are once again, recording the episode Warp Chatter podcast. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for checking in. This is the podcast about the Horus Heresy Legions digital card game, talking about Warhammer 40,000, Horus Heresy, lore, games, all the stuff that we enjoy. This is a podcast by players for players. With me today, we've got several players. We've got Team Germany from the World Cup joining us. That's a three-man team.
Yeah, what?
We've got Mr. Midnight.
Yeah. What's up, boys?
B-side.
Hey guys, what's up?
And Constatin Valdor.
Hello guys, how are you?
And with me as well is the Crab co-host Axel Manning.
Howdy, howdy-o.
And I am your host, Scuff D. We've got a couple things to talk about today. I mean, we've probably got more to talk about than we actually know. We're going to be talking about how Team Germany is doing in the World Cup, obviously. What we're looking like, I think we've got one more week to go for the for the group stage, correct?
Well, we are done.
You guys are done.
For the results.
Well, we have one game left. I haven't played in the last round, but everyone else did, so we have one last game left.
Okay, and then we go in. Yeah, and then we go into the top cut, right?
Yeah, we hope. I mean, we have still some games left. I hope they will finish before the patch comes out online next week.
Right.
But so far, it looks pretty good, but we're not on safe ground yet.
And I think we're going to talk a little bit about the possibilities of what that patch might be for next week. Or by the time, I suppose by the time people hear this, the patch is going to be out. This episode will be out on Thursday. Yeah, so the patch is out, so maybe we'll be spot on, maybe we won't. We'll talk about that a little bit. Then
I feel like I'm a little confident in some of the knowledge we gained from inside sources.
I think some of the data mine stuff is going to be decently enough to draw some conclusions. And we can talk about the Imperial Fists. That's the other topic that we're doing. Our Faction Spotlight series is returned, or it's continued on. I was waiting to do the Imperial Fists until we knew who our fourth warlord was going to be. And even though, as of this recording, the event hasn't ended, we know who that's going to be. So,
in fact, we know so much in the code right now. They've already planned on adding Diaz's deck deal for you to buy it with real money.
I think
they know we're not getting bought.
Every guild kind of knew what was up to.
Yeah,
so.
It's good because Cambadias is chatty daddy. It's fine.
Yeah.
How dare you? I wanted my executioner to come in.
Because you're a monkey, probably. Look, you can either build cool little turrets, or you can again go face and be a monkey. But yeah, of course you like to be more monkey. But here you can build little turrets. So tell me what's cooler: build little turrets or be monkey?
I want to embrace monkey. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
That's my goal.
Of course you do, my friend. It's okay, I forgive you. But fact is, Cambadias is chatty daddy.
You're right. Cambadias is a cooler character in lore too. I'm sorry, pirate.
I have no clue who he is in lore.
On the other hand, Fafnir Ran is still alive.
Ooh, that's true. That's true.
You make a valid point.
Well, I think we can talk about the characters here in a little bit for both of them, even though we're only going to see one added as the fourth warlord. But before we do all that, I want to do player introductions, because I know we've got voices, we've introduced the names, but I kind of want to get, typically we start off, we do player introductions, who you are, how you got into the game, how long have you been playing Legions, what do you enjoy about, 40k or Horus Heresy in general, what factions do you prefer to play? So we'll start off with Midnight, if you want to tell us about yourself.
So, I don't think I have to tell much. I'm a famous person. I'm super important. You know that? No.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm playing this game for I have to look in the game client, but it's 446 days or something. Because after I started playing it, I managed to log in every day, because you can go online on mobile. I was just collecting free crates when I was busy or something like that. So I think it's been a bit over a year. So what else? My favorite factions, I played pretty much everything. But probably right now in current state, well, Raven Guard is probably one of my favorite factions gameplay-wise. Agents of the Sigilite, I really like those as well. Just made top 10 with them last season. Well, lore-wise, I really like the really like the Night Lords. They also kind of fit my name, Mr. Midnight. So I enjoy playing Cursed, but he's kind of bad right now. But still, I often try to compete with him. Warhammer, well, I don't even know. I think it started all with me playing Dawn of War like all of my school friends, so it traces back to like 10 years ago when the game came out. I don't know. Dawn of War 1 is like 10 years old, isn't it? Should be.
Dawn of War 1 came in 2004. I was just playing it.
So 17 years?
Even more.
Wow,
17 years.
Yep.
No.
Well,
No,
the last
that's-
DLC came out in like 2007, so it went
Yeah,
for a
that
bit.
must be it, because I started off when Soulstorm was out, so yes.
Yeah.
I think...
You started
it
off with the bad one.
Hey,
No.
Soulstorm is fine if you want to play Skirmish, but if you want that campaign, you go Dark Crusade.
Dark Crusade was my favorite
All right,
for sure.
I agree with that.
Okay.
I don't remember which expansion it was, but that was the one where Necrons got introduced.
Yes, yeah, that was
Oh,
Dark Crusade.
Yeah, that's a good story one.
Okay, so anyway, I started playing that with my friends, and then I kind of started to look into all these factions I played, because I kind of liked the universe. It was cool. And then I just Googled a bit, and I said, wow, this is humongous. This is a huge universe with so much lore. And then I started to buying books, more games, and so on. And I don't know. I'm not a super dedicated Warhammer fan, to be honest. I'm not collecting the plastic figures like all you nerds. But I don't know. I read a book from here and then like last year when there was this Pulse event, like this year, and Cabanda came out. I got it recommended on Steam because I got a shit ton of those Warhammer games in my Steam account already, and I just went into it. I'm a big card games fan. I started off with Yu-Gi-Oh! When I was 11, and then Magic, Pokemon, and like every digital or collectible card game that I could get my hands on. I grabbed it and played it, and this is the one I stick with currently because I think gameplay-wise is one of the best. It's a bit like low budget, you can see it, and it has a small audience, but the community is great. I know I had such a cool community in the game, and I mean all these characters from the Horus Heresy. I was really excited to see those, and I really like the gameplay. So it's a rare case that a game can hold me for over a year. So yeah, I think that's it.
That's always good.
I also got a YouTube channel, if you didn't know.
I
You
know.
did.
I knew. I don't know if everybody else knows, but we'll get the word out there.
I know. I checked in a couple times. I like the videos.
So
Yeah.
I mean, with the Night Lords, you said that's your favorite faction. Is that like one of the first books that you picked up? Have you read the Night Lords trilogy?
Excuse me?
The Night Lords trilogy, is that like one of the first books
Nah.
that you read, or what drew you to them as being your favorite?
Now they're fucked up and badass and edgy and all that stuff.
No, that is true.
That's the themes. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
one.
They,
For those here right now, our guests, if you do want to read any of the Horus Heresy books, I'm just saying, I may or may not have all of them legally quotation marks, and I just gave them to you. So,
Okay.
have fun if you
I'm,
ever want to read any of the Horus books.
I got the Horus Heresy right now. I'm reading those. Last book I finished was Mechanicum.
okay.
And
Oh,
now I'm
alright.
at those short stories, if you know those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the short story collections, those books
Yeah.
vary. Like
Well,
some are
it's-
good, some are not. It just kind of
It
depends.
starts with Blood Games, and
Blood Games is fine to
then
me.
some Space Wolf story. That was pretty cool with the Dark Elder.
Oh,
And
right. Yep.
Yeah, I don't remember. And then Word Bearers doing Exterminatus on some religious fanatics or something.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
All right. Yeah. Like I think after that, then I think you might have Legion. Have you read Legion yet? Or did that come before
Legion,
Mechanicum?
I already read Alpha Legion. If you
Okay.
know that.
All right. Yeah. So I'm trying to think what comes
That was
after.
also one of my favorite.
Oh yeah, Legion is very good.
That was really
Yeah,
good.
very good book.
Like where they where they meet the Cabal and all that stuff.
Right. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So then maybe I think the following that where you're at starting off, I think is Prospero, Burning of Prospero, and the Wolf King. I think those might be the next ones you've got coming up. Those are pretty good. Those are two sides of the different of the same story. So good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, B-side. How about you? Tell us about yourself.
Me? Well,
Yeah.
oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead, Midnight.
No, I'm fine. I don't need to tell anything. So, your turn. Sorry, I just thought it was a second question. I overheard the B-side. I'm quiet.
All right. Yeah, where to start? Like, I think I started the same way, but with the original Dawn of War 17 years ago. But apart from that, I have to admit, I'm not like the biggest Warhammer fanatic, but I do like card games. I also played card games when I was 11 or something. They had like weird ones. Magic, obviously, but there was like some Star Wars and Star Trek games at the comic shop where I went back then. It was a lot of fun. Then I stopped for a long time, but like, I don't know, well, let's say 7 years ago or something, there was more online card games, so I started with those. There was like one from Heroes of Might and Magic, I don't really, Duel of Champions or something like that, which was a lot of fun, but then ended all of a sudden. And I was looking, and I just, like, I think 2 or 3 years ago, well, 2.5 years ago, I probably found Legions. I started playing it very casually, so maybe building some super crappy deck, playing mainly for the dailies. And then during the pandemic, I got a little bit more into it and started playing a little bit more competitively, like having an eye on top 50. It took me 1.5 years to figure out that there were better rewards up there, and then I really wanted them. And yeah, that's that story about. But actually, I haven't read any of the Warhammer novels, but I do like to look up the characters in the wiki and so on.
So you really got, like you mentioned, the pandemic was kind of the ups, well, not really upsell, but like an increase in the play for you. I think a lot of people, it was just kind of a good, not a good time, but good like timing or motivation for people who had nothing else to do that really played more. And I think, at least these last few months, it seems between the expansion and certain parts kind of opening up, I know some players have had less involvement or interaction in the game because they're kind of getting back to their normal routines. But for those who, like you guys got involved into the World Cup, are you feeling any different motivation-wise with things change, or are you still enjoying the game the same or more?
So for me, I think motivation-wise, I'm still it's a lot of fun, but I just have less time now.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more tougher to make time. Also for the World Cup, that's one of the reasons why the two other guys have already played their matches, and I'm still holding out a bit. But also finding a date, everything was not that easy.
Was it harder for you guys? And this is kind of a question for everybody collectively for World Cup, but did it change at all being easy to schedule games, or has it kind of been consistent in terms of getting in touch with your opponents and making sure that your guys get your games in?
I think we had very few problems scheduling our games. I think there was some problems with the match with the Australians because of the huge time gap, but so far I have not encountered any big problems. Went pretty smoothly to this point.
All right. Well, Valdor, how about you tell us about yourself?
Yeah, of course you can. I started Warhammer when I was about 16. I got into the tabletop and started started collecting Blood Angels and later on Grey Knights. And I think 1 year later, the Horus Heresy book series started and got me hooked on that storyline, and I collected them ever since. I'm at the Siege of Terra storyline at the moment. I'm up to date. And I'm curious how they will go from there on, because they already have changed some pretty big storylines. And yeah, I like it. The game itself, I think I played for 2 years now. I got into it when the Ep25 expansion came out. I think it was during the time the Salamanders got into the game. And that actually was a pretty bad start because I was playing event a lot, and the event games were Salamander mirrors. and they took like half an hour each. So you really needed a lot of time to actually finish one game. But I'm hooked since then, and I really like it. And I like it the way it is. I hope the next week will bring some new stuff, but I don't think that will change anything.
Yeah, I think whatever we've got coming next week, or again yesterday, if for anybody who's listening to the podcast when it comes out, there's been some interesting stuff mined. I know the teasers on Facebook from Everguild. This is not the end. This is the beginning, or it's been 3 years. It's time for something to change. It's kind of vague. We don't have really any clue as far as what that could be. The files that were data mined, I think, hint at a mode that's... I don't know Hearthstone. I haven't played Hearthstone, but I know some of the players who've looked at it said it's very similar to something in Hearthstone where it's a campaign type mode where you're playing against the AI and you get progressive rewards. I don't know what the rewards are going to be, like if they're going to be, card backs or gold or exclusive cards that you can only get through this mode or not. But
hopefully the latter.
Yeah, I would like to see exclusive cards that you can only get by beating the mode, right? And that gives you reason to replay it or to play it and gain those things.
Yeah, I would like that too. I mean, some solo mode is a nice addition. You don't have to play it, you can play it, and you also don't have to schedule some games with some opponents or something like that. I think that would be a fine addition. Right.
And if it's a good way to get cards or gold to players who are new, you mentioned one of the things is, when you came in the game and it was a long games in the event mode, which sometimes those can be a pain. I know the Vulcan and the Mortarian events are probably the prime examples of that. But
dude, I especially loved the event where you had Khan and goddamn Mortarian available. I hated this event.
Yeah,
that was miserable.
Some of those events are just like, if you're a new player and you get your tickets, that's just not something that you're gonna be happy to see. And the drafting has not. I mean, you can play a draft as a new player, although with gems being limited, and sometimes there are just some drafts where you run up against that wall where better drafting is definitely the better solution, or having some experience and knowledge as far as which warlords are the prime decks options to go with. But if you've got a solo mode that can be maybe a little bit more positive for a newer player to kind of step into and at least get more comfortable with their own understanding of the game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the drafting you mentioned earlier for the event, I think that's a better way to go with the event than it was before, because there always was one or two decks that were seriously overpowered, and everyone went with them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't gotten them in your choice, then you're already screwed. And now you can't have one overpowered deck. You can craft them, of course, if you have enough gems, and some of the older players do. You still can craft a very formidable deck, but everyone can do it.
Right.
Before that, you had the choice or you didn't have it, and if you didn't have it, you're screwed.
Yeah, I think I mean, I'd like to see it improve a little bit where you can still spend gems, but maybe it's on par so that even though a player may have a lot more gems, they can only spend so many. You can only do so many rerolls. I know we've talked about that on the podcast before. Limiting it to 3 rerolls per run could be fair and still allow for a lot of options. Yeah, but it's what we've got for right now, anyways. Axel, you've taken a look at the mine stuff as well. Is there anything that you had seen that looks interesting?
Well, besides the fact that we have interactions...
One side question, sorry for interrupting.
All good, man. All good.
We had a very important topic before we started the stream with a German team. What's about getting lit? Are we getting drunk and then having fun, or just talk?
Yeah, that's the point.
You can get drunk. If you want to get wasted, go ahead.
Okay, because that's the point. Like, we're starting off, like, really tame. We're having a little chit-chat. and then we go full retard. That's the plan, okay?
That's the plan.
That's hey, if that's
Okay,
how you guys
great.
want to roll. That's how you want to roll.
I mean, I wasn't lying when I said that it will be 3 Germans insulting each other after 10 to 12.
No
Don't
insulting.
worry.
We love each
I
other. We
don't-
have
But we've got
Booga!
we've got Bar Night Legions following this. I don't know if you guys are going to be coherent or awake by that point, but I think
well, I'm half through my first cocktail, so I'm fine
all
for
right.
now. But I didn't eat that much. I had a banana in the evening and only breakfast so far. So we'll see.
This Midnight is a tough guy. I just finished my next beer, so just saying.
Hey, that's how you want to do it.
I don't know.
But you asked me if I'd found anything interesting in data mining.
Yes.
And I did, actually. I did find some cool things. Particularly, there's interactions between, I want to say, all the Imperial Fist warlords with Perturabo in, like, lines and such. That, and we have an Iron Circle event warlord coming out soon, which I'm assuming he's going to be part of the new mode, which is dubbed Campaign by the devs. More things in the code that I found to be interesting was, Camba Diaz. He's confirmed 100%. There was something else in there in the code. I'm trying to remember it off the top of my head, but I can't. Ah, shoot.
If I may interrupt, I think
Go ahead.
physics teacher found some interactions with the Emperor, so I guess there will be
Oh,
some
yes.
storyline or some interaction with him. Or with
Those
him actually being
interactions-
Warlord.
Those interactions are old, though. They were like on launch. They were in there. So
Oh, okay.
each warlord, some of them were even in there before the Primarchs were. They've been planning on giving us Big EE for a while, so I wouldn't be surprised. I'm trying to remember the
I
exact.
didn't know that.
Oh yeah, no, it's all good. I'm trying to remember what was the key thing I learned, but I can't remember it right off the top of my head. Oh yes, this isn't data mine, but the devs very recently have been talking to the moderators before updates and the tournament organizers so they don't break tournaments. There's an update coming to a faction soon. They said it's only minor, but they just wanted to check to make sure it wouldn't break World Cup. So that does mean we're getting a faction, like, something's happening to their cards soon. So it's only going to be small.
I think they posted that and on the Discord this morning, Zacharias, who's the tournament organizer for World Cup, shared that information too. So it looks like it won't be anything to disrupt the tournament, which is good. No major update, although it could be significant enough to change a few cards. I don't know if that's going to be Imperial Fists or if it's going to be Orphans of War or some sort of dark horse like Night Lords that nobody's seen an update for a while.
I'm thinking if we do see a Night Lord change, it will be wider across the board than what they're describing.
I think that's fair, yeah.
Because right now, Night Lords, they need a bit of juice.
They need something. They would need to address the warlords as well as the troops and like have a strange counterbalance. Like they wait very similar to how they did the Iron Hands recently, but I don't know. I don't know if they could do it in one go. I think they might require like 2 patches.
Yeah, likely.
Well, I also could imagine some nerf to the Knights. They're still pretty strong.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Since Knights are not allowed in the World Cup, that wouldn't disrupt that tournament. I think they might have hinted to that.
That's actually a very fair point.
That's true. Night Houses,
I didn't even consider that.
Sisters of Silence, Agents of the Sigilate, and all the new neutrals aren't allowed. So if they were to make changes to any of those, it would not affect the cup whatsoever. And Knights, I mean, I think there's 3 or 4 cards that could lose the cantrip effect and be fine.
Yep. I think that's exactly what I'm always saying, dude. Nerf Knights, no one knows how without destroying the faction. I say remove the cycle on fucking most of their cards because the reactor draws itself, the House Maccabeus, the shield, like, just remove that. The problem with Knights is the goddamn consistency. They are so consistent because they draw their whole deck by turn 10. They always have the cards they need, and that's why they win so much.
Yeah.
And
They have no downside to playing those cards. It's just boom.
Yes,
recycle.
they can vomit. They can vomit their hand. They can play like the last retard, and that's and that's all. That's the problem. Like Plasma Generation also maybe tuned it down a bit, so you have to think a bit before firing your weapons. But I think the main point is the cantrip first of all, and second of all maybe the Plasma Generation. So we have to think a bit before firing your weapon. And third thing, what I find really awkward is that if you stun the knight, that the weapons are unstunned. So there would be some counterplay. I mean, that means that there will be a shitload of Alpha Legion on the ladder, which I don't really miss, but still. I still will always fight Alpha Legion over Knights, to be honest.
Yeah, Knights are just not fun to fight. It's fighting an uphill battle.
Well,
It's a chore. It's a chore. It's a fucking chore.
Yeah.
It's not playing
Oh,
a game.
yeah.
It's like making you the fucking dishes for me. Like seriously, it's a chore. And you
Oh
always
no, you're
have to
100%
perform.
right.
And you always have to perform mental somersaults if you're playing a troop deck to somehow outsmart and beat them, while they are just ooga booga. We fire the laser. Like what? Like in this.
It's especially
in this meta.
bad that they added that the what was it called? The flame cannon at launch, thinking that would be fine.
Oh yeah, it's so
Yeah.
bad.
That always
I have
makes
no
me-
idea how they fall.
I love Everguild. Holy shit! I mean,
Like,
I
what-
sometimes wonder if they play the game themselves. I sometimes wonder, do they like in Magic? I remember in Magic Arena, sometimes you face players with a golden name. These were admins or staff of Wizards of the Coast, and
Yeah.
here I swear no one from Everguild plays this game. They are like looking at numbers. They have their analytics of different statistics from the game. How much is something picked? How much wins something? And they're like, this looks pretty bad. And sometimes probably they also read social media, so Reddit, Discord, and so on. So that's why they are in hand. So maybe in the end they listen to Mortem. Mortem!
Yeah, it's all Iron Mortem's fault.
It's all Iron Mortem.
Well, I'm not sure,
Mortem.
because I think before I had joined the Discord, there used to be an Everguild employee who was on the Discord, but that was like in beta.
Was he toxic? Was he toxic and salty when you GG him like
No.
GG employee and he's like, fuck you, RNG! Ah!
No, I never talked to him. Like, I think somebody had mentioned him like in passing, like, hey, he hasn't played for like 6-7 months, and then he like responded, he's like, yeah, but I'm still here, but I'm not really, like. And
fuck this game. I hate the game, but I get money for it.
Yeah,
so.
and I'm not really sure. I mean, I'm sure to some degree that like, hey, does this card do what it's supposed to do? You'd like to think that that's what they do, but then we have Fafnir ran on release that first
they
couple
never did
hours.
the obvious.
Yeah, so I don't know how much they actively play their game, and we've asked time and time again, hey, could maybe have a closed team, like have like 5 or 6 really good players, like who are willing to beta test a faction or a card or a mechanic.
What we need is a public test beta.
Yeah,
Where it's just open it up. Some people can join. Here's the new faction that's coming out. You can just test them out for a bit. Is there any problems? It would very much so help.
it would be nice to get stuff on release that isn't either non-functional
broken.
or overly powered, because the flame cannon was probably the worst.
That was a joke.
Yeah,
How much energy did it cost again?
2.
Plasma.
2
But how much was it
energy
to
to
play?
energy to fire it once, and you can fire it every time again when
Yeah.
you kill something.
if you killed
Yeah,
somebody,
but-
it does
Yeah,
2
but-
damage to the entire
yeah.
board, and if it kills a
I have-
unit, you can fire it again.
But how much was it to play? Was it 4 energy?
4. It was still 4.
4.
Yeah. Which, if you look at that compared to artillery or any of the salamander cards, you go, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Regarding the employee, I have some guy in the chat saying Phaedros doxed him, like whatever that means.
I don't know.
Dox
So
is where you drop someone's address and like their real name and stuff.
Oh.
Okay, is that what you
Which-
mean, Othravius Omegon? I'm talking to someone in the chat, so yeah.
Oh, that's all good.
Midnight is streaming while we're chatting here, so.
Yeah, so that means even if we were to edit that out, those words are still transcribed on the internet. You guys
That's
can't
right.
escape to consensual sex mentally.
They're out there somewhere. You guys see, I can edit it out, but Midnight can't edit out his true desires.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. I'm not getting any money for it, so who gives a shit? When this gets monetized someday, then I have to take care. Because last stream I was listening to music on YouTube, and you know how many strikes I got?
Oh yeah.
Because
yeah.
of I was simply listening to my YouTube mix, and
Right.
I got like eight of those strikes where it's demonetized. I was like, okay, I don't give a shit. It's not monetized anyway. But if it would have been, holy crap, you have to be really careful.
Yes, they
Oh, yeah.
was it a year or 2 ago they changed that, and that's kind of it didn't change. I'm not monetized either. I'm not I had enough subs to even monetize, but like it's like, okay, well that makes it less fun to mix music in or to have something playing in the background. You've got to find something that's free, or you can't even if you own it yourself or you're playing to it, it's in your house. that doesn't count. That's not allowed.
Pass by someone playing it on the street. And you can get
Right. Well, and there was a big thing. And this is completely unrelated to Horus Heresy Legions, but Twitch, if I recall correctly, when that took place, when there was
Twitch.
yeah, I know, when there was a change to the copyright protection for music, there was several Twitch users who had their videos retroactively striked, and they were banned for like stuff that they had put out like 4 or 5 years ago that other people had copied over and dubbed music to, but because it was their source material, they got held accountable. It took them 6 months of like, what do you, I didn't even know that I had to go back and fix those videos until the day of. I don't know. It's a whole mess. I don't do Twitch. I'm not,
Copyright in itself is a
Fuck
rabbit.
Twitch.
Yeah.
Don't do Twitch.
Don't do Twitch.
YouTube live
Unless
stream
you are
works
like unless Scuff, you will wear a bikini and
No.
then go into a hot tub and then
Yeah, I'm just saying stuff. If you want to
Shut
do
the fuck
bikini
up.
streams,
You wear a bikini, you go into the hot tub, and then you lick the fucking microphone for money. You
I'll do
understand
this.
me? That's
Yeah.
what you do.
I'll get
That's
this.
what you do. Then you get rich, and that's how you will make a living. Okay?
That's
Fuck
how you
your
do it on
job.
Twitch.
You will sit in the goddamn bathtub for 8 hours. You will get drunk, and then you will lick the microphone for money. Okay? This is what you're gonna do.
That's what they do on Twitch.
are you going to be like his agent or
That's
something?
why
Help him
fuck
set
Twitch.
it up?
But you're not allowed to use swear words. You're not allowed to listen to music you want. But it's okay to show tits, show ass, and lick the microphone to money. That's quality content. That's what Twitch promotes. That's why I fucking hate Twitch. Fuck Twitch.
That's
fair.
why I'm there.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
That's spoken right to the YouTube.
That's right.
Whoever
See,
checks
he's,
out the stream.
YouTube is
Who knows
signing
what he's
midnight.
doing?
YouTube is signing midnight
don't
for a
think-
contract right now.
I don't
Yeah.
think YouTube gives a shit. They have enough money. They don't give a shit about Twitch.
No, they'll just hire you to run a Twitch smear campaign. It'll work.
Yeah, I'll add some music now.
Talking about the Imperial Fists, I guess that's the topic we'll get to here shortly. Before we do, now that we've done player introductions, I want to talk about Team Germany in the World Cup.
I'm like a zone now.
Yeah. You guys, right now, based off of the standings that are shown there, you guys are in third in the group stage? But B-side, you said you still have your game to do.
Yeah, I think our last 2 games are still like the whole play day isn't scored yet.
Okay, so are you guys looking to advance into the top cut, or are you on the bubble?
No, no. Yes, it's looking good. I texted with Big Pippi today, with my homie Big Pippi, and it's looking quite good for us because Vapix is memeing. It kinda, even if I don't remember correctly, but even if Italy or someone makes enough points, they still don't make it. So we're actually pretty safe.
Italy's out. They already have played all their games, but our direct opponents are Australia, Balkans, and Spain. And Balkans are facing Spain, and Australia is facing Asia. And even Asia isn't completely out of the hot ground, and they will take each other's points. So there are some combinations where we lose and we drop out of the top 4, but they are highly unlikely. It still could happen, though.
Okay. Because we talked about this when Vapix was on talking about the World Cup. Like, your guys' group is very tight. I mean, like points or 2. I mean, Germany right now has got 105 points, and third, based off of just the image I'm looking at. Australia, you mentioned, is at 102 points, which is 3 points behind you at fourth. But Italy is at fifth with 100 points. So I mean, just within the 3 of you guys, there's only a 5-point difference, or 2 to 3 points.
You have to consider that Italy already has played each of its games,
and they're all the way
don't have-
done, right?
Yep.
Okay.
But if you think from spot 1 to spot 7, everyone could make the cut,
Right, because
except Italy.
Balkans hasn't played, right?
I'm sorry?
The Middle Europe and Balkan minors hasn't played?
They haven't played yet, no.
And Spain is
And
playing
Balkans.
Balkans, okay. Yeah, so depending on
and
how that
Australia
goes.
is playing Asia, we are playing France, and if you consider our last 2 games, which are already played but not included in the standings, we would have 111 points. So that's a bit more than you can see actually now, but it's still close.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of tooth and nail. I mean, I think 8 and 9, spots 8 and 9 are probably locked. I think the Isles and Kazakhstan are probably not advancing. France is most likely still going to advance. I don't think you can deny that.
Yeah, of course. The France, they won every round, like
Yeah.
Asia. So these are France and Asia are safe.
Yeah,
Like,
France
100%
actually
safe.
has. France actually first for sure. No one can topple them anymore.
Well, it'll be interesting to
but
see.
Yeah, but yeah, it is pretty interesting, and yeah, as I said, Italy is out, but this games between Spain and Middle Europe is very interesting, obviously for us as well, because they have to.
Oh, go ahead.
Are they because they both have to beat each other pretty decisively to pass us, but they could. So it's
I mean, with the standings now, let's say, bside, no insult, man, let's say you score 0 points, then Balkans would win if they win 18 to 9, and Spain would be at the same spot with us when they win 21 to 6. Both are highly unlikely, but they are possible. It's still a game based partially on luck. So bside, you have to draw us out of the dirt if that happens.
No pressure. No pressure at all.
No pressure though, bro. You're fine. Like no pressure. Yeah, you're good, man.
Yeah, no.
And you fuck it up.
So
We
the
come to
guy I'm
Neverland to
playing,
beat you up.
yeah, I know that. That's what I'm afraid of. But the guy who I'm playing is already had made some theories why he needs to 3-0 me. So I will try to not get 3-0'd. Because I mean, we're playing France, so they're the strongest because they already advanced this first. Obviously, this kind of the strongest in the group, even though Asia would say no because they beat France, but whatever. But yeah, it's going to be a tough game.
Yeah.
But since apparently it doesn't matter that the game doesn't matter for France anymore, so it will be fought out until the last drop of blood.
Now, which warlords are you guys playing?
Should I start?
Yeah, you go ahead. Yep. You go ahead and start. Yeah.
I'm playing Icona. I don't know. That's my favorite warlord. Simply, I have. That's the first warlord I ever hit top 50 with. I really like, as mentioned, the Raven Guard playstyle. That's why, yeah. And yeah, what else to say here? To be honest, I don't know. I just really like him. Currently, he's not that good in simple rank play, but I don't know. I kind of felt obliged to pull Raven Guard.
Yeah.
Just
sorry,
I'm playing besides. That's why I'm a bit unfocused. So anyway, yeah. Then I originally had Escalon because it's also one of my highest win rate warlords. Although he's kind of off meta, but I really enjoyed him and so on. But I changed him to Branson early because all my warlords were like combo and damage oriented. So yeah. What else? And then I have Branson as mentioned, just like my control warlord, also one of the first warlords I made the 50 with, alongside with Nicona. And my last warlord is Rom. I think I have about 600 or 700 games with Rom. He's like he's like one of those warlords who can cheese it out really easily. Because of his stupid damage output. Holy shit, I just wrecked that Dawn so hard. Fuck my life. I'm playing Drager. Anyway. So, yeah. These are my warlords. I don't know. I should have picked differently because they share a similar weakness from time to time. I should have thought it a bit better through. But Desperate Defense was such a mess during the start of the World Cup. And these three warlords, they all aren't outlaws against Desperate Defense. That's why I picked them. Kind of. It was my thought behind it. Like, I wanted a high win rate. I know. So, warlords I'm confident with. And warlords who don't auto-lose to Desperate Defense. That was kind of my point. I didn't think about... didn't really think it through that Desperate Defense, after 6 or 7 months, might finally be patched. I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed with my picks now, but it still works. I won 5 of my rounds and lost 3. Could have been 6, to be honest, because I misplayed one hard. But yeah, I'm still really happy with my result. And also, what I noticed is that almost no one plays the warlords I picked. So I'm a special snowflake. You know what I mean?
Really stands out among the crowd.
Yes, that's very important for me. I need attention.
You got a breath of fresh air when people face you.
What?
They said you're like a breath of fresh air when your opponents face you. They've you know,
Yes.
yeah.
They like they like le autism. They like to chat with me. They like le autism. They like the brainless playing style of me. They like in our team, bside and Constatin, they are like they are always playing a lot of practice games. They theory craft a lot. Like they're preparing their decks for their matchups. They ask each other, "What can I do here? What can I do here?"
At all.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's actually the right thing to do because, like, the top players, in my opinion, are Rabasmoon, Spellbreaker, and Arsenal in our group. And what they do right is that they win their matches before even the matches start. They tech so good, they tech the deck so good that they have a really easy matchup. Like, in all seriousness, that's what kind of is the real margin between a good player like us. I without pushing my ego, I would say like all three of us are good players. But
easily. You guys are in World Cup.
But really, the little margin between being a good player and being a really good player is I don't know. It's kind of like a little drop which makes the glass overflow, and then and this is this kind of thing. What I noticed with these guys when I played them, they really just counted me even before the game started. Like in those games, I had no chance because it's like when you face a little bad matchup on ladder. So it didn't matter if I played perfectly, I would still lost. Mm. That's what they're doing better than us.
Yeah, I agree.
And what I wanted to say.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what I basically wanted to say. Like, what bside and Constantine do? They tech like for days, and I'm just like, yeah, it's fine. I'm just gonna do it, and it kind of works. You know, I'm not thinking much about it. I'm going to relax into it. I'm just like a game where it's not about money. It's just about a fucking card pack. Like, I'm having fun. I still have a competitive spirit, so to say. But this event is, I don't know, it's more like a friendly competition for me. I don't take it too serious. I don't think too much. I just play my games. And it kind of works, and I'm happy about it. I talk a lot, right?
Hey, that's fine by us.
That's all right. You were going to say something, Constantine?
Yeah, I wanted to enforce Midnight's argument here because if you face those players and you play a certain playstyle, you play some cards, there's one card your opponent could use that would disrupt your playstyle completely, and those top of the top players do have them in their decks. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, they most of the time have them in their hands too. And that's something a good player lacks. They don't think that through. They don't have that one card. And some of the top players, which we have in our group, do have that card.
Make some stiff competition, well, especially when it's like you said, like it's just one card that can disrupt you, and if they've got that included, that could be all it takes is to break the game.
Yeah, it could be something simple like Sabotage, anything like that, or some D-stun card like Pi Alpha, and well, you're done. Your plan doesn't go anymore. He can act when you wanted him not to act, and that's it.
Buddy Rose.
But it's also a kind of, it's exactly what they say, but also like Midnight said, Constatin and I sometimes try to do exactly that. We tech like for days and we try to make it go, and but it doesn't work all the time. And the weird thing is that it seems to be very like there is a War Master bonus. I think all the people with the War Master card pack, they just can't do this better. I don't know, not better, but they just have like a better luck in some way.
Mm-hmm. We should have subscribed at one point. That 5 extra bucks in Euroguild would have given us the right cards at the right moment.
Yeah. But I mean, it's great if you have those games. I mean, I had like in the World Cup also a couple of games where it worked out like a charm, and then games where you have all those cards in your deck and you think, oh, now I would need this, but it's just not coming.
Okay.
But I think that's just how the luck of the law, or luck of the draw.
So,
we'll see.
Getting into then, I guess the faction spotlight side of things. Or actually, we didn't hear what Warlords bside and Valdor have got. What Warlords are you guys running?
Yeah, I'm running Vulcan, which is actually the same reason that Midnight's playing Nikona. It's just my kind of favorite Warlord. Kind of cool lore and works well, and also was the first one who brought me into top 50. Then I have Perturabo because he's just was strong, and he was very strong against all this desperate deep defense games, just ended the game way long before. Now it's a little bit of a different situation, but oh well. And the third one is Arimon, because he also is just very strong and we didn't have any Thousand Suns yet.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's about it.
Sei nicht so schüchtern, mein Guter. Erzähl mal ein bisschen mehr hier.
Yeah, what else should I say? Well, actually, during the World Cup, we saw a little bit more. I mean, there's like, for some of these, they're like very much pre-made decks. Like, there's like this Vapix type Arimon deck that everyone plays, and even if someone comes up with a completely new deck in their mind, it looks 99% like that. But then I think I've been at least a little bit innovative for both Perturabo, where I have like some two Perturabo decks that sometimes worked and sometimes didn't work, and for Vulcan, where I took some decks that were already around, but made them a little bit, streamlined them a little bit for the World Cup. And that's
I need to interrupt you here for a short moment. Scuff, that's exactly how our team meetings go. Something catastrophic happens, and Midnight is like, "Oh my god, what the fuck? What did now happen? How did that go?" And B-side's like, "Oh, that's not good."
Yeah, it's always like that. I'm like completely freaking out. I'm like
Every
losing my
time.
shit. As usual, and B-sides, it's always...
you need a good mixture.
Yeah.
Midnight turns into the Hulk, and B-side is as calm as can be. Someone could come to his house and say, "I have to execute you now," and he says, "Oh, shame, haven't finished dinner yet." That's B-side.
No. If someone comes to execute,
autism.
I don't do it.
We also have a little request from the chat. Johan wants to know, tell us how Mr. Midnight became the captain of Team Germany. Inside sources tell me he's bad at the game.
You say that, I also just got a message from Juan asking the same question. This guy really wants to know.
He really wants to know.
Well, why Midnight became our captain?
Yeah, tell
Well, he
them.
volunteered, and that's it.
That was it. There was like, I'll be
Simple
the
as that.
That was it.
Because I was the only one actively communicating with the rest.
Hey,
Yeah,
You're
there
also
was
Mr.
no
Active
vote. There
on
was
the
just
main
one
court.
guy who actually did it.
Yes, like I was the only one actively communicating in the World Cup chat, and that's why, if no one else wants, I'm already talking to them, so why the fuck not? And that's basically it.
That's fair. I think the captain title was really just to help facilitate, matchmaking sometimes, make sure that the games are moving along.
Which worked actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So I thought there would
I
be more
think I would
problems,
even
especially with
claim-
the different time zones, but it worked quite good. So sorry, B-side.
I would even claim that we are maybe the very German team. We are like always getting our games done in time and so on. So it's I think one time we had a problem, but it was on the other side.
Ja, deutsche Pünktlichkeit.
Exactly.
Yeah. How about you, Valdor? What warlords are you running?
I'm actually not running my signature guy here because I think he would have been crushed by Desperate Defense, and I made my warlord choices exactly because of that card. I went with Alpha Legionnaire, which everyone knows now is Exodus, because you can play around Desperate Defense. I chose Custodes because I wanted to have one of the Custodes warlords. I went with Amon because he could stun one or two of those units. And I went with Gilliman because he's a solid all-rounder. If I knew or had known that Desperate Defense would have been changed, I guess I would have picked something else. Maybe Lucretia, maybe, I don't know, even something like Curse. Something that isn't completely blocked out when Desperate Defense hits the board. But now, I have to go with them. I'm kind of happy, kind of unhappy with the choices I made. Gilliman has not disappointed me so far. Exodus, I don't know. I mean, I've seen some streams with Balgard or Juan with the games, and I was like, I never get those cards with Exodus when I need them. They always have them. I have buried them in my deck deep down, so I got a bit lucky with him. Unlucky with him. And Amon so far, he most of the time was the third choice in my games, and he won actually 2 of those games. But against the Rex Code, I was completely outplayed. That was what Midnight mentioned earlier with the winning before the game actually started.
Mm-hmm.
He had Mortarion in his roster, and I was, if I start with Amon, maybe I don't run into him, but that was what happened. And Custodes against Death Guard, especially Mortarion, you have no chance.
Yeah, that's a bad match. Like you're.
It's not a bad matchup. It's an auto loss.
It's pretty much like just count. Take the time. Take the time.
I mean, I was taking against it. I was using lots of neutral cards that could deal damage even when they're stunned, like the Helios Mortar Carrier or the free Mechanicum guy. I don't know its name, but still, at some point, you're dead.
Yeah.
You might have to play one of the Custodes cards. Most of the time, it's the Hunting Eagle, and that thing gets insta-stunned, and it gets stunned until the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And you dry out. You have no cards, which is a big issue with Custodes, because they're the only faction that have that, and the stat lines they have is by far not any better than those of the newer legions.
It doesn't line up with the new cards for sure. Yeah,
exactly. And
The
that's
Sentinel needs
what
a rework.
Rex called. He used it against me, and he did that very good, and then he won. That's completely fine.
Yep.
Happens to the best of us. I would love to see if Custodes could get their Sentinel reworked, or at least as their stat line is no longer as good, especially looking post Blood Angels.
Yeah, I mean,
Angels
with the Solar Auxilia, if you play Strategic Reserves and you get the 45th section with it, you actually have a better 4-drop than the Lantum Knights of the Custodes.
Yeah.
It already had the exact same health pool. It had a higher attack from 4 to 5, which is huge because then the card can't be Melgator'd, and you don't have the debuff with Sentinel.
And it has an ability, you know?
Yeah, I forgot that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, the Solar Auxilia is hot to trot at the moment. I got a Shapura Solar Auxilia deck. I'm still missing the Epic, the 2/3 Ketsuhiro.
Kenshiro?
Yeah.
Oh, I forget her.
But
yeah, he's kind of key.
He's nice, but once you hit Maximus on, it's ridiculous. Like,
You mean Valerius?
well, Valerius is nice, but I'm talking like, I mean, if you're protecting with the front line, Valerius is very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Maximus locks it. That's what it's all about.
Maximus?
Yeah.
I don't know what card you mean.
Maximus?
The legendary.
Marcus.
Marcus.
I call him Maximus.
Maximus.
Yeah.
Dude, it's a gladiator movie, yeah?
No, I call him Maximus because he's so gold. He's got the
Oh,
gold
yeah?
plate, he hits, and like that's it. Like, you know.
That's what we're running with?
That's what I'm running with. That's I now have to go back through all my posts because I'm pretty sure I've typed up Maximus like a dozen times in the last week.
Poor stuff.
That's, hey, you know what? I make no apologies. And my autocorrect is flubbed as it is. Like if I mistype a word, I just roll with it.
It's always Maximus.
That's right. That's right.
Always. It's a Maximus from
Maximus Valerius.
That's a very good drop.
Okay, from now on it will be Maximus Valerius.
That's what we'll go with.
I thought my girlfriend actually did something mean to me because when Alpha Legion came out, I wanted to show her the game, and I looked at the cards they had, and I looked at the 10 drop, which usually was bad then and still is a bad drop. And it was the Legion Glaive. And I was like, oh, look at that awesome card. It has frontline. It has a beefy stat line, 10-10, and enemy tactics cost 4 more. And that will never get removed in the turn it comes into the game. And she looked at it and said, that looks like a duck. And I was, what?
Like what?
It looks like a beak, and the small laser target, it looks like an eye. It's a duck tank. And I was, no. And I looked at that card, and never, from that moment on, I forgot that it looks like a duck. And whenever I see the card, I see, yeah, that's the duck tank.
Which card looks like a duck? Which card looks like a duck?
The Legion Glaive from Alpha Legion. And it looks like a fucking duck from now on. Until the end of my life.
Too.
It's a mighty weapon of war, and it looks like a duck.
It's not a tank, it's a quack.
That talk about just like total like underselling, you know, you just like look at this badass tank that just is brutal. It's like, yeah, it's like a duck. It's like a cute little kitty. What?
There's other animal-inspired things in this game, right?
There are
So
quite
it's
well.
fine.
I think Octillan's score, his mask is supposed to be like a lion face.
Yeah, it's a lion,
It looks
but
like
it looks
a pig.
It looks like
Yeah.
a have a nice day. Every time I see it, like, have a nice day.
Really bad.
Just a
I love it
smiley
so much.
face.
It's
I
so
see this.
bad.
I see the smiley face emote when I see Attilan Score's face.
Yeah, that's kind of right.
It's definitely not great.
Well, talking about, I guess at this point we're at the halfway point, or a little past
At the halfway point, and it's time for another drink, boys.
Get some
Wait, I have
drinks.
two in-game. Yes.
I'm already at my second beer.
Second.
Only
Oh,
second. How many
How
is
drunk
midnight?
do you get?
This is,
I had only one
you know
cocktail,
the
but
beers
I
I
had-
have, Scuffed.
see, Axel. This is a test for our midnight New Year's Eve party episode. So,
Oh yeah.
now, granted,
We'll see
for
how that
them,
goes.
for our German friends, for Team Germany, it is evening time where they're at. For me, it is lunchtime. So
Team Germany, this is just everyday life.
that's probably true. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
See?
Well, talking about the Imperial Fists, because that is kind of the faction spotlight episode we're supposed to be talking about. We'll talk about a little bit about I mean, obviously, from the sounds of it in your guys' background, you may not necessarily be super lore savvy with the Imperial Fist, and that's okay. We don't have to dive too deep into the lore. We can obviously talk about the warlords, cards. Maybe one thing I really want to hear is how you guys feel. What's your take on the Bastion mechanic? And just kind of go around that way. And then what are your top, your favorite cards? So we've got talking warlords. We'll start with the warlord side first. Because
Okay. First of all, I'm mixing myself. I started off with an old-fashioned, like last stream, but yet now I'm mixing for the stream, I'm mixing a gin tonic now.
Oh, okay.
A simple long drink. I have some Mistral gin. This is gin with vegetables. And very important in the gin tonic is, of course, the tonic. We have Fever Tree, elderflower tonic water. Elderflower adds a really nice aftertaste to the tonic, and I really love it. So you want cucumber instead of lemon because of the vegetable taste. The vegetable taste goes much better with a gin tonic than a lemon. This is my favorite tonic. And the gin of your choice. I just like this one because, again, it has celery added in it. Okay, go ahead.
All right.
Okay, for all the newer players listening to Scuff's podcast, that is actually not part of the Imperial Fist faction.
No, that's not. But I'll tell you what, it sounds
it
really
might be.
good. No.
I'm busy, so the one after me can start
Yeah,
with their...
B-side. So we're talking about we've got four warlords. We've got Pollux, Sigismund, Dorn, and we're going to be getting Diaz. How are you feeling about the warlords?
Oh yeah, the Imperial Fists, I've never played them on ladder, I have to admit. They're, but the events are always kind of fun as soon as you get a hang of it. Because at the beginning the games were also very long, but there's a lot of pew-pew if you play it right. So it's a fun faction. It's like very strong, I find, but it has a kind of a little bit boring playstyle because you don't attack, you just like sit there and you try to build up board.
Besides, sorry, how do the turrets make again? Wie machen die nochmal?
Pew pew.
Jetzt nochmal ohne Ton.
Pew pew.
Ohne Ton! Okay, go ahead, sorry.
It's the exact same sound the graviton cannon makes.
Yeah, correctly, but it's I think it's a slight different because in the books, sorry that I'm going off topic again, but if I remember, if you fire a graviton cannon in the books, it's like completely devastating, like heat blow which fries everything in a couple 100 meters, and I think the turrets are just like pew pew in the books as well. I don't know, but I find it quite funny that they make the same sound.
Yeah, they could ramp up the graviton cannon sound.
Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
I don't know why Vengeful Spirit gets this cool ass explosion, then Graviton Lance just gets a pew pew.
Yeah, I mean there are some cool explosions like the Ashurax, the 10 drop from Mechanicum. That has an awesome.
Yeah, that has also a unique animation. I don't know why they don't do it for everything. Because I don't know. Okay, I know they are lazy. They do be lazy. Holy fuck, I can't open this bottle.
We love EG. We just have only bad words for them.
Yeah, it's a love-hate relationship sometimes.
Yeah, it's a love-hate relationship, definitely. Holy crap.
So Everguild, if you're listening to this, we love you a bit more than we hate you.
That's true.
Yes.
We will only say horrible things, but we do love you.
We only say horrible things because we want you to be better, baby. Come on.
Yes, get good.
Don't make me hurt you, baby.
Holy shit, the gin is pink. I thought only the bottle was pink, but the gin is actually pink.
How about you, Valdor? What's your take
First
on
time
the
you're
belt?
drinking then?
Well, I think the defensive play style hurts them a lot when you try to play them competitive because you're getting outplayed. On the other hand, if you're lucky, the Imperial Fists are like an avalanche. If you can drop Kestros and fortified outposts on curve, and then give them bastion after bastion, you can fill up
Well
It's
done.
gone. Where did he go?
really pretty
Yeah,
hard
he
to do.
lost
And
Will.
I think since the game is very aggressive, you usually don't have the chance to get to that point where the avalanche can't be holding anymore.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think and I think that's, for me, I prefer to play them not so defensive. Dorn is kind of locked. He is, based on his ability and his opening hand, he's kind of stuck in that route. But I think
Yeah, I agree.
I think Pollux and Sigismund are much more flexible than people tend to realize or want to push that way, just because they bank on Kestros or the turrets, or there's not a whole lot of power troops that they come out with stats. They've got Gorhagen is a great card, Archimus is a great card to boost your starties, but there really aren't any huge flankers or rally effects that are massively powerful for them, that aside from maybe the Whirlwind or Justici, who's a great finisher. So that early game is kind of building up and fortifying more than anything, but they can be offensive. But yeah, like you said, playing that defensive role, especially with the way the ladder can be very aggressive, it's not easy. It works in some matchups more so to your favor. I think obviously if you're facing against an Angron or even a Kroll, I think you could do very well, especially if you're hitting some good tanky fortified units and you get some stalwart defenders on some frontline stuff. You should be looking pretty nice, but it's not a guarantee.
No. I mean, that's why actually Fafnir Ran would have been a good addition, because he would have enforced a different playstyle with them. Pollux, Dorn, Sigismund, and now I quickly have to look it up.
Diaz?
Diaz, they all have the same style. They all sit back and reinforce their board. And it's kind of vice versa with Custodes, because you have 3 warlords that lash out and Shapura sits back. And now with the Fist, you have 4 warlords that sit back, basically.
Boys, we got a special guest.
What do we got?
Adele, my little dog, 2.5 kilo full of love. You may continue.
That is lovely. It's like my cat somewhere, but he's adorable, but he's a piece of garbage.
Oh,
This garbage cat.
Listen, I love him. He's a piece of garbage.
How about you, Axel?
Be to your cat.
What are your thoughts on the Fist Warlords?
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why I wanted Ron so much, to build off of what was just said, is he was different. There's too much, and I build my board, and I defend, and I defend. I know that's the Imperial Fist gimmick. I do. But I really just wanted to see someone break the trope. Does that... Yeah, they're really not my style, the Fist Warlords. It's just all a lot of slow board defense. I know I main word bearers, but I let one troop stick to the board and then I win. I don't like building up a slow board. Okay.
Well, I think slow is subjective, and I'll defend the Imperial Fist here to some degree, just because I like them. But I think you can win with Pollux before 7 energy. It doesn't. Yeah. It's not every game, but it's very doable. A slow board is the Death Guard. When I think slow, I think them. There's probably even a slower faction beyond them, but the Fists, securing a board can happen slower, but winning, depending on what combos you've got built out, or if you've got 3 or 4 troops and then you throw down Archimus, great, that's pretty strong. That's one way to go about it. If you've got the fortified outposts, stalwart defenders, and a couple of turrets, you've built something, but you have to sit there for several turns and have those pews happen. And if in ladder, especially where your opponents have more likely to have a dex to answer various scenarios, you're going to encounter more defensive satellites or jams or flanking troops, things to help disrupt that, so it's not as guaranteed, which makes it harder. But I wouldn't say that they've got like a slow win. I mean, definitely I think Dorn is probably the longest game option. Like, I mean, if he's playing, a Dorn can win early, but he's more likely to win late than anything. I think Diaz will probably fall in that gate too. If you win, I think. Unfortunately, I agree. I mean, I'd say unfortunately, I agree with you guys both that I think Rand would have offered something new and different, and it's unfortunate that we didn't get him, or that we're not going to get him. By the time this episode airs, we will not have. I think we'll have like one day left.
We'll have a day less, and unless Pirate can rally the entire game community behind him.
Yeah, it's just
He'll
it's
try.
unfortunate.
I think that's a major issue with the way the warlords are chosen too, because you usually went with the new stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
If you could choose before you start, okay, I want my points to go to that warlord or to that card. It's not always a warlord we choose. Then I think that the results would have been different.
Absolutely.
Sometimes.
Oh, 100%. And that's what everyone wanted too, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I start an event, I choose to play a 1-time ticket or a 10-time ticket, and then I get asked, do I want this and do I want that? And then I can start choose or craft my deck. I guess that would have been possible or will be possible. Maybe they will change it at some point.
I said it's not like it's impossible to code. There's really no reason for it not to
Right.
be in the game.
Yeah, it's just it's like one additional selection. Yeah.
Yeah. One more menu you got to click. That's it. I don't even think it would be confusing. Maybe it would confuse players. Maybe that's the reason we don't have it, guys.
Ugh. It's confusing to the new players,
I
guys.
think it's...
We can't have it
could
because they're
be-
confusing new players.
I think 1,000 different cards and like 100 warlords are confusing enough.
No. I think it would confuse too many players. An extra pop-up menu.
And actually, I think the coding, they could do it just with like the drafting. You draft at the first pack, you draft. They didn't even need to do any coding. So I think it's very doable, but maybe they just haven't noticed. So if we say it often enough on the podcast, maybe they do.
Maybe we can fly to Spain, all at Team Germany, and us too. And we can go send them a strong-worded message. And maybe they'll then understand that, hey, maybe people actually want this. Because we've been asking for it in QAs. And they've always hit us the same with, we think events are currently fine. They're not.
Yeah, maybe we can really change it. Hey, there's 3 German guys standing outside. We better do that now.
Yeah, but I think the QA, my experience from it is at least the answers are always like, everything's good here. No worries.
Everything is fine as everything's on fire.
Yeah, but then, exactly. But then a month later or 2 months later, there might be a change. Like, even with DD, they were very much claiming in the last one that I attended that that's all fine, and then they did change. So
Right.
I think saying it does have a thing. I just don't want to be like right away, like, yeah, okay, you guys are right, we'll do everything what you said.
Yeah.
To give some credit to Everguild, they do answer our questions. It's not the answer we always want, and it's not always useful. But there's actually one guy sitting down for 2 or 3 hours and answer every question. That isn't something that is usual for a company that does such games.
No,
My favorite though is when they just hit us with a book quote.
Yeah, it's nice to get the attention or the time from whoever is sitting to answer the questions. Sometimes it's a little frustrating when the answers are not substantial or there's anything to them. Like the typical, like, well, we'll pass it along. Hopefully they are, and at least you get to hear that you get a response, so they heard what was said. And there's only been, in my opinion, a couple Q&As where I literally felt like nothing was achieved, no information was received. Nothing was gained. It was like, why did they have... nothing was announced. Normally, at least with a Q&A, it feels like at least you can get some feedback that, hey, they are seeing the same thing that everybody else is seeing. They see it, and maybe they will work on it at some point, at the very least. Or they acknowledge that that is a perception of a part of the community. Yes, we know that this is a problem, and we will continue to keep an eye on it. Okay, well, sometimes that might be an eye on it for 2 to 3 months. Sometimes it might be a week or two, but at least they're aware of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But I think some big issue like desperate defense could have been addressed earlier.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can,
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
you can read it in the card. Every other card has some cap lock. It's 3 units up to a point value of 4 energy, and desperate defense didn't have that cap.
No.
It just said put in 2 cards and they got frontline. And I say, whoa, that's huge. At first I wasn't sure about the impact that card had, but you could craft decks to drop some 8 or 9 energy cards, 2 of them. And actually some cards could enter the game which never were designed to have the frontline trait like Corial Seth or Abominable Intelligence.
Yep.
And to get past them, that was a huge effort on your side. And often you could get rid of one of those units and the other still is on the board. And then your opponent can play that same card again, so you have to face 3 of them. And with Warlords like Fail, that could happen so soon. And you could even play 2 desperate defenses in one turn. And there's no chance that can be fair. I mean, you have to see that if you design a card.
Right. Yeah, and I know, like, they've mentioned before, like, the ramping style of the energies. They're like, hey, that's our intention. Well, I don't think it was your intention to put, one card and allow those decks. And I think, I mean, it's something that they should have caught earlier. It's something that they should have paid attention to earlier. Because, I mean, I remember way back, even before Desperate Defense was a thing, there've always been those meme images, for like Assault Harvest that plays Lernia Hydra with 4 energy or 3 energy or whatever. Like, it can be done. And then you literally created a meta where decks were doing that every other game. It was like a consistent thing. It was no longer the rare exception. It was like, this is the way the game is shifted now, and people are playing it this way constantly. Like, that's not, I don't think you intended it to happen that way.
I mean, it was with Desperate Defense, there was 1 month especially where it was, you play and you see Fail and you know exactly what will happen.
Yep.
It's Asteroid Belt, Desolated Ground, Warp Turkey, Desperate Defense with 7 energy. You say, yeah, thank you for the match.
Yeah.
I've not heard him called the Warp Turkey before.
I've heard the
That's
Warp
amazing.
Chicken before, but Warp Turkey?
Yeah, chicken. That's new. I love that.
He looks more like a Skeksis to me, from the Dark Crystal.
Some bird, and that's it.
It's a bird. We've all agreed upon that.
That's true. He's avian-like.
Some really annoying bird. But I guess we drift off topic.
We drifted a little off topic. That's okay. It all comes back full circle.
Always fun.
So moving into I don't know, the bulk of the Imperial Fists, I think their core feature obviously is Bastion. And I can talk about what Bastion is. It's pretty self-explanatory, but it's basically additional health on the defense more than anything.
I didn't even say something. I was so busy drinking and listening to you, but it's okay.
No,
I want to be a big boy Midnight.
Oh, Midnight.
Go ahead. I'm joking.
Don't cry in your gin. It's okay. It's okay.
I'm calming myself. It's okay. I'm aroused by your voice, Kafti, as always.
What? We didn't get your take on the Warlords. You go ahead. You go ahead and chime in before we talk about Bastion. Then we'll kick off with you.
Do we really have to?
No, it's fine.
Yes, we have to suffer the gin.
Yeah.
Is it really suffering though? If that's what we all want,
I would like some gin right now.
Right there.
I think we all would.
I mean, you're allowed to talk. Go on.
Yeah.
It's a major mistake to allow him to talk, but
I think too, but we have to.
It's only polite.
Shut up! No, it's fine. Like, go ahead with the regular themes. I'm playing Juan here. I'm busy anyway.
Oh, okay.
You go ahead because Juan is a very good player. He was number 1 rated by Pirate Lahai in this sheet from the World Cup. So I have to focus here, and he's showing off his new deck with Branson.
Okay.
So.
Oh yes, I've seen that deck. Juan's I want to say friend, but then that would admit me being friends with Juan, and I don't want to do that.
No,
he's listening
not
to
friend.
this right now.
So I'm going for a 33% Terran reality here, by the way.
Oh, that's good.
Wish me luck.
Hope it
I
sticks.
Chaos will be on your side.
Wait, I'd make it 50%. Let's do it. Juan will be super mad because I already won the first one. Yeah, I won again. Easy game, Juan. Get good or something.
We'll hear his opinion on that shortly.
We will. Yeah, he'll chime in somewhere.
Yeah, I won both RNGs on Terran Reality.
He tried.
Super pissed.
He tried to ask me to convince you to let him pop on the podcast. It's like, wait, no, Han, I can't do this.
That's
Sorry,
too
sorry,
many
buddy.
people.
No.
Three's a crowd.
He started speaking German at me and said, "Can I come on now?" And I still had to say no.
No, he can't speak German. I don't believe it. I don't believe that Juan can speak German. He sounds fuck.
He was typing his German.
Pirate tried to speak German once too, and I think he declared war on half Asia.
Ja, der macht hier einen auf Allmann und dabei ist so eine Pro irgend so ein Kanak. Also kannst du knicken, dass der hier auftauchen kann, Freunde. Nee, ist nicht.
The only part of that I understood was Canuck.
You
But
got
it
the main
means
part.
something
man.
different. It means something different.
Listen, it sounds like Canadian, so you know what?
Oh, I think I even top decked Lethal here. I think if he watches this, he will be pretty mad. Get wrecked by Erebus.
By
Nice deck,
edibles.
Juan.
That's a different kind of getting wrecked.
0 RNG here involved. That was pure skill, Juan. Pure skill. Or another challenger. Who is it? Chaotic 1999. Ah, that's one from our logical.
Is it chaotic from Merciless? Yeah.
Yep.
So the Bastion mechanic is it's health, extra health on the defense, and you lose it on the offense.
Got something.
What you got?
I got something to add here.
Go
Yeah,
for it.
definitely. When I first saw Bastion, when I first saw Dawn especially, I thought, holy shit, this is crap. Like, I know comparing legions between themselves is not a good idea, but we have 6, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Vincent 6 from the Raven God. He gives 2 health for 1 energy. I know it's a rare warlord and he can't do anything besides that, but I took that as a, so to say, how to say it? I took it as an orientation point. Like this guy gives 1 health, 2 health for 2 health for 2 energy, for 1 energy, and Dawn gives 2 Bastion, and Bastion is like worse health. It's only defensive health. So when attacking, you don't lose Bastion. It's like bad health, and he gives 2 Bastion. So 2 bad health for 2 energy. It was like, holy shit, this is so bad. And well, then it turned out that they're actually pretty good. So unfortunately, they nerfed. Well, what? Unfortunately, not unfortunately, they nerfed the sisters, right?
Mm-hmm.
They got what was coming to them. They deserved it. I don't think anyone will disagree.
They deserved it, and I was playing Dawn not last season. I didn't play Dawn that much, but start of this season I played Dawn. I also uploaded the video on him, and he was so good against Crow. Like you needed to play like really long games, between like 10 and 15 minutes usually. But if you played like smart and you just played cool, you played your cool, you just cleared your board, kept your stuff. Crow had such a trouble dealing with that shit, and I really liked it, you know. And I thought, well, fuck. Now they nerfed Crow, and now I don't have any reason to play Dawn anymore. Because Dawn, you saw him, he had like 48% win rate, I think. 45 was cursed. Yeah. And I was really disappointed with that, to be honest.
Yeah, I was surprised on the meta report. His usage rate was pretty high, but his win rate was very low.
Cool. Like, it's cool. It's fun to build that board. It's like Iron Hands playstyle, but good. Iron Hands are good again. If you saw my stream from last time, Santa is rocking. I don't know how Ferris and so on are doing, but Santa is rocking. So anyway, good thing about Dawn was he was really good against fucking Crow. He really countered her pretty nicely. I had really a lot of convenient games against her as Dawn. But right now the meta is like Solar Auxilia and Knights. And Solar Auxilia Knights, so the combination of the 2 most busted things right now in the game.
Heard about those. I haven't seen any yet.
So you haven't seen any yet because you're probably 2.5k practice, bruh. So anyway.
No, I play low Terra ranked. I just don't peak too high because I don't try to.
Oh fuck! I completely forgot about Terror's side. Fuck my life.
Well, the OTK Cypher thing is still going on. So.
Yeah, fuck OTK Cypher. Like, you know, if you are active on Discord, you probably heard my fucking rant about Abrasax. If you know this guy, Abrasax tried. Last season I went for top 10 like the first time. Usually I don't give a shit about that, and it's stressful and so on. And I said, well, fuck it. I kind of played Nesta at the start of the season, and I kind of catapulted me into the high ranks almost instantly. So I thought, yeah, why not? I'm gonna try it, and I did it. And the guys in the top 10, they all played like meta stuff, or they were like pretty good, like one of those, or combination of both. And I was super pissed at fucking Abrasax because he's so fucking dense. Like, no offense, but Abrasax won't watch this anyway. He's probably not active on social media. This guy was dense as fuck. He played badly, but he still somehow managed to stay in like top 20. And on the last fucking day, when I was at work, I was half asleep and all that shit. And it was like 5 or 6 a.m. I was fighting for my top 10 spot, and there's this guy playing his fucking corn cipher, and it pissed me off because it's such a cheese. It's like playing solitaire, you know? It pissed me off that he did that, and I don't know. Fortunately, he lost because of his own stupidness. There was Balgard also pushing for top 10. And Chaotic, that was stupid as fuck, by the way. Why your board was better than mine? Why would you do that? Anyway, so and he was pushing for top 10 along with Balgard, and I give it to Balgard. Balgard is a good player. If he gets for top 10, sure, go ahead. It's fine. Balgard deserves it. And this guy, in the last 5 minutes of the season, he played another game. Although he had a safe spot in the top 10, he had a safe spot. And he played that last game and lost. And that's why he went to rank 11. If you look at the leaderboards from last season in the game, you will see him in 11th spot. And that's why he was nervous or something. He played a game in the last 11 seconds or something like that. I fucking lost my shit. That was so fucking stupid. I'm GG Chaotic, by the way. And yeah, I hated Cypher, and I don't remember what the original topic here was about actually.
That's true.
Sebastian.
Yeah, that was a good transition. You started with Dorn and Sisters of Silence, and then somehow gradually shifted over.
Anyway, I thought like
I warned you. Yeah. I warned you. Don't let him speak.
Don't let me speak, dude. I'm like completely. I have ADHS or something. So, Bastion. Yes, I thought it was originally better, like I explained earlier with 6. And yeah, in the end, it turned out if you have Stalwart up, and if you manage to establish a board, you simply win, because there's no way you get past Stalwart and like I don't know these 3 guys with Bastion 2 and a couple of turrets.
Mm-hmm.
So I discovered my favorite Imperial Fist warlord is actually Pollux. The guy I deemed really bad. He doesn't play that much with Bastion, but he has so cool combos with fucking Stone Gauntlet, Gunfried, and Grohagen Squad. It works so fucking well. I really enjoy him. Like, he's low initiative, 30 HP, think about it. It's like bad. But, fuck, I really liked it. Let's play Pollux against,
Pollux is a fun one. With the low initiative, too, he gets that counterattack most of the time.
Yes, and if he was a high initiative, it's bonkers. Or medium initiative. Because if you go first with Pollux, it's insane, because you can't simply deal with the shit he spawns with his ability.
Yeah.
It's not like the turrets from Cambodias. It's not like let me think. What else spawns?
Like the closest thing would be the Astartes that Vulcan creates. Like that's the closest thing you can compare it to.
Yes, they're also annoying, but whatever, I think, right?
But you can only have one. So
right.
I think if he could just spawn the board
but with
full
Pollux,
of them,
this ability to ramp damage on the board, it is stronger than I thought. His problem is still that he is low HP, but I think it's still justified because the combos you can pull off with him are just ridiculous.
And he's got a lot of frontline factions.
You actually want to have that counterattack card.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Very good for the Imperial Fist.
Pollux putting out, like you said, like Stone Gauntlet with him at board. Like even if you're just firing off 4 or 5 twos, that sometimes is enough to do what you need to do, whether it's to finish it or if you've got Justisi from a supply lines. Okay, there you go. That's even better because now you get 4 threes. but the 30 health is the thing. If you can't stick up a front line to protect him late game, or you don't manage to get Bastion on him, that's the one thing that he, obviously Stalwart Defenders doesn't do for the Warlord, is put Bastion on the Warlord. Like, he could still be vulnerable to a direct damage or an unstoppable, Warlord that's got juiced up attack or something like that, whether it's Sanguinius or Korax, who could finish off with like a sentenced combo, something from there. But
I guess someone like Horus with a lot of tactics also will have little problem with him.
Right. Yep, exactly. Because he can take the 2s from your guys, all right? At that point, it really is a race, like, how much damage is he going to hit on your Warlord before you can have some bodies down to combo. Whether it's comboing them with the Archimus to increase their stats, comboing them from a Stone Gauntlet, or Justici with the front line to protect the Warlord.
Already lit. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Well, also, I think when if you're talking about Bastion, with like the meta how it's now, that you can have like any card on at least any tactic, any deck in a way.
Mm-hmm.
If you get them from Kaizo lane, some factions just go completely out of control.
Yeah.
Like anything, not anything troop based, but things that have like medium health troops, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, and the thing I liked about Bastion that is kind of the underscored point is defensive health, but really what it allows you to do for the Fist faction is play your troops differently. Like, you can hold them off on the defense. Like, it's like, obviously if they take too much lethal when they're attacking, you'll lose them. But if they've got Bastion 6, you can have them sit there for 3 or 4 turns, ready to go to when you want to throw out that attack. And in the meantime, they still can soak up 6 damage. And if you've got that on a frontline troop, or a frontline that stuns somebody who attacks it, or, Stalwart Defenders constantly adding to that, I don't know, like, it's on the surface, when it first talked about it, I was like, okay, it's kind of, how does this work? But in practice, after playing it and using it, I really like it. I like it a lot. I would have liked it if we had a Warlord who could... I know we've got like Archimus in the event right now, which can give, Bastion to his whole board, which includes himself. But I would have liked it if we had a Warlord that did a little bit more with Bastion on themselves, so you could work with cards like Shield Charge, for that kind of like little bump and charge. I know that's a random target, but it would still be interesting. And I think there's ways to do Sigismund that way. I think you could have probably done a decent Ron deck that way. We just won't see those.
Ron?
Yeah.
Ron, I think, I gotta agree with some of those people saying he will add a different playstyle to Imperial Fists. He won't really. Yaki will still play the same shit with a little, I don't know how to say, with a little, how to say it. Just let me think real quick. With a little handicap, so you don't have the protective abilities of Dawn, or you can't spawn shit like Pollux. But what he adds to the Imperial Fists is reach. Yeah, that's what Imperial Fists really lack.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been pretty funny, actually. I don't know. It's like, wait, I have 9 energy. What do I play? So anyway.
Just pass.
I know that Cambadias, I'm excited for him, to be honest, because he will, I think, enable the structure game plan. I tried structure Dorn, and it really didn't work at all. Like, the Dorn I uploaded on my channel in the end worked really well. But structure-wise, I don't know. I really wanted to play it like Mount Ferris and the Fortified Outpost combo and all that shit. I thought it would be pretty funny. And I don't know. I think he will enable it, but Ran, like, I think the goal with him would be to not use his ability at all until you can finish off your opponent. So you can add some draw to your deck. Maybe, I don't know. Wait, let me check if I have lethal. Oh, yeah, I do. So I just think that you will add some draw into your deck, like Lectitio Divinatus or something, a lot of cycle, and just play the usual Imperial Fist stuff. So like the value troops of the Imperial Fists, and what he will just add that you play on a little handicap that you can protect your troops or spawn more stuff, but that adds up that you will simply have, if you have like, I don't know, a hand of 7 or 8 cards in I don't know, on turn whatever, and your opponent was busy like clearing your troops with his face, that you simply can finish him off with a 16 or 17 or 18 damage swing. That's like the idea. So you dump your whole hand, and suddenly your warlord has 16 attack. Like that's insane. So he adds insane reach to the Imperial Fist, and they don't have that. The only good reach card they have right now is the Gunfried dude.
Mm-hmm.
But Gunfried needs a board to be really good. So I think Ran would actually be an interesting addition. First, I also thought that he's kind of shit. He has no synergy with the cards. What the fuck is this? But it would have been interesting to see him. You know.
Considering orders from Terra, that reach could be a lot higher.
It could be, or
yeah.
you've got Phalnix, which lets you draw 4 cards and gives you more energy to combo more stuff if you've got drill sights. Yeah, he could go crazy. We'll just
I
never,
mean, at
never
10
see
energy, you can drop 6 cards, so you're at 14 attack. And then you can orders from Terra. I mean, 14 attack times 2, 28. At that point, you will have your opponent down to that amount of health.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at that point, I also gotta say I'm lit as fuck. I didn't eat almost anything, and I made a really strong gin tonic, like 10 CL. And ooh,
It's catching up with them. We have to catch it up before
and
midnight
how
fades.
are my boys doing? How are my boys doing?
To be fair, I don't see any difference between the drunk midnight and the midnight I usually encounter.
I'm more incoherent. I tend
Maybe
to
longer
jump from
sentences.
much.
Usually
Yeah. I'm
Usually we
nicer.
can not interrupt you.
I'm
Now we can
nicer,
interrupt you.
and I speak longer. Anyway, where were we?
Bastion.
Bastion.
Bastion,
So
but I think
I'm
we
done
said
with
a
Bastion.
lot of things about Bastion.
I think we've
We-
talked
we
about
said a lot of
Bastion as far as
things
it goes.
about
Like
Bastion. I think-
overall, how would you guys rank it in terms of like? Is it?
As a
Mechanic?
trait.
Yeah.
That's hard. It's good. It's good because it synergizes well with the Legion because they are super defensive. But I don't know if it was, I don't know, on any other faction would be shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah. The faction's really built towards it.
It works with the faction, but as a like vanilla keyword, I think it's shit.
I agree, but I think you still think Stalwart is a really, really strong card.
Yes.
Even because it just gives the whole board. Even if it's like some fake HP, it's like for the whole board. I mean, you can only imagine. I mean, we have the thing, Marcus now, where it gives the whole board of solar things.
Right.
Survivor, and that's completely OP. And so this is not. I mean, that's obviously a bit stronger, but you can remove it. But Stalwart Defender you can remove, and it just does something quite similar. I think that's strong, but in general, not. Like +2 is like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Especially with the faction that can drop multiple units in a turn. Like, that's a big thing that they've got for them. Like, you're not just giving, Bastion 1 to a 7-drop troop. You can give it to 3 or 4 troops the next turn.
Yeah, a lot of, that's true.
Boys.
Alright.
But I think the whole faction is designed around stalwart defenders. If you don't have it, the turrets die like flies. That one extra HP, especially in a mirror matchup, that makes a big difference. It's like with the Reckonclaw and Night Lords. The Legion is kind of designed around that.
Yes.
So with Night Lords, it's like everything might have flank, so they have to be a bit weaker. And it's the same thing with Imperial Fists. They all might have Bastion 1 from turn 4 going on, so they have to have a little less health than the usual 3 or 4 energy drop has. So if you're really unlucky and you don't get Stalwart Defenders, you can deal with Imperial Fists very easily. So
I think if they were to change Stalwart, and not that I'm advocating for it, because I think it's a fine card, it does nothing for the Warlord. That's for me, that's the reason why it does everything else it does. But if they were to change it to be less impactful and just give Bastion to like adjacent troops, or give it, Relentless instead of Resolution, you would have to adjust other cards in the faction to counter that. Because, like you said, like it's whether that's an intentional design or not, they have only been successful because of Stalwart being there for them to help them. I mean, you can play Fists without Stalwart, but once you have a single Stalwart in your play, like, you can see the obvious impact. Like, it's a huge difference. It's like that one card that really holds, pushes the faction to the next level of play, basically.
Yeah, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Right.
Like, not you.
I'm not advocating for that. I think that if anything, I would advocate for about 4 or 5 other cards to be changed to be improved. But that's just me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're getting into. I guess I don't know if we got much more topic to talk about the card size. I mean, I guess if we had to pick top 3 Imperial Fist cards, I'll just go down the row.
Number 1 is Stalwart.
You're going to go Stalwart. I will not disagree on that. What are your other 2 picks?
We agree all 3 on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so number
All
1 is
all
Stalwart.
5 of them.
All 5.
All 5, okay. I would say number 2 is Gunfried.
For me, number 2 would be the 3/3 legendary.
Oh, Ahmed.
Aman?
Ahmed, yeah.
Yeah, I go with bside here. It's an early card, which even
yes,
if you have
so-
the counter-attack card, it has Bastion 4.
Yeah,
That's really good.
Armand is number 3 for me. So Stalwart, Gunfried, Armand, that's my ranking.
Yeah, I mean, Gunfried is for me 3rd.
Stone Fist?
I would say.
What do you mean Stone Fist, Marita?
Okay, so
The 4 energy comment.
Stone Gauntlet, okay.
Stone Gauntlet.
Oh, I don't think.
For the
Alright.
third spot, I'm not sure. I'm kind of undecided between Fortified Outpost and Kestros. Because depending on the warlord you play or the board you already have, Kestros either gives you some initiative, or Fortified Outpost just can ramp up your damage. So one of those. I can't decide.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's kind of true. Like, obviously, the event play is very, very different from Ladder because you can have things 5 times. But if you have 5 Kestros in your deck, then you're usually going on a 12x run or 12 win run.
Yeah. Event's fun in that regard.
Event is a little wonky, that's for sure. I'm gonna have to go with. I feel like Midnight's choice. I'm gonna back that up too. I think Justice is my 2nd and Ahmed is my 3rd. That's a tough call between both of them because they both serve a very good purpose. I don't think there's a wrong way either way. I think they're that close. Stalwart definitely is the number 1, but I think they both, like, one helps lock a board early, and the other one helps, like, drive the hammer home late. Like the better hammer, not the recently buffed hammer.
Which didn't need a buff in my opinion.
They gave it to shut up one guy on Discord.
Listen, Mort is happy, and then the devs will gain more money, and it's a win-win all around.
Let's be real. Mort is not happy. Mort will never be happy.
Mort's never happy, but we can lie and say that he might be happy, okay?
He was happy for a minute. In that one moment, he saw joy, and his heart swelled 2 sizes that day.
And then he complained about something else.
Yes, exactly.
Yep. I'm pretty sure he did actually too.
So if I complain long enough about Custodes, maybe I get my buff too. But I think I have to give Everguild some money.
That's the way to go.
You need to ping Everguild like once a day. You need to ping them, man. Like Hello Service Legions, like what he did is baiting like money. He always said, "I will give you money," and that's how he won.
They did, and I bet you he gave money.
How much
in the end,
he did it. Yeah, that's a question for the Q&A. How much did Mort pay you?
How much did the IF buffs or IH buffs cost, and how many do we have to pay for Custodes?
Yeah, there you go.
That's the question.
So 1 hour of a developer can be like a decent amount. So maybe you paid for around 1 hour.
Yeah, you pay. I'll pay an hour of your time to code it for me. Come on, let's go.
Maybe you meet outside developers.
It's a lot of money, but
Like
you know what?
that already comes with if someone already provides the code and just sends them like the code, just put this in your code. Maybe then they're like, oh, that could work.
Now we got to find out how much to pay to get Ron added right now. We can still change it, boys.
Get him on the back door. Maybe he'll be in this campaign thing. You never know.
I don't know.
No,
This campaign takes
Well, they
place on
said there
Fall.
will be a fifth
He's
warlord,
not
and I
there.
guess that will be Ran.
Yeah.
I hope it's not, and they add another one just to spite Pirate.
Yeah, the Archibus. It's already there.
Yeah.
Like just with a different
Well,
picture.
I think Justicia is also going to be an event warlord from what I read. And there was also in the story, the Battle of Fall, there was a Terminator first captain, I forget his name, and he was on the boarding party that boarded Perturabo's flagship to try to take him down. I imagine he would be included in that. I forget his name, and it's unfortunate because he got captured and like totally fucked up by Fabius Bile. So,
You know, as what happens when you get captured.
wait,
by chaos.
that's true. If you get captured by Fabius Bile, you're not going to have a good time. It's not going
If
to.
you get captured by chaos, bad times are coming. You may as well die at that point.
Yeah.
You may as well die.
Well,
That's why
getting
Marines
into
don't get.
to the toe end of things, we're trying to talk about we did player introductions, but when you guys are not playing Legions, what do you do? What other things do you do? Games, occupations, hobbies? Midnight. We'll start with you.
Currently, I'm playing Warhammer Chaos Bane, just a bit.
I heard that's fun.
Yeah, it's an action RPG, but it's okay. It's
great.
not the best I've ever played, but it's fine. And then besides that, well, I think I'm pretty occupied with my job, woman, and dogs, to be honest. So,
Good thing to be occupied by.
the only thing I kind of have time for then is from time to time run around the park a bit to counteract my pizza and alcohol consumption.
Hey, if that's what you do.
Fair enough.
Oh,
All right, how about you, B-side?
Yeah, what do? I don't actually play that many other games these days.
What do you do?
I'm just too old for it, and job takes too much time. And yeah, but apart from that, I don't have a dog, but it sounds like I spent a lot of time similar to Midnight Job and everything around the normal private life. Yeah.
besides,
Not too much. Not just. Yeah. Not too. Not too crazy. But yeah, no, it's also alright. I really like my job, so it's fine.
don't lie. You have no life.
What do you do for a living, if you don't mind us asking?
I'm a researcher. I'm like I do like microbiome research. Like what
Man, we got-
bacteria. Yeah.
He's responsible
Are in
for the
your gut.
COVID pandemic.
Oh, he's the one who made it. All right.
Yeah, he is the one.
No, I only do bacteria, no viruses.
We don't know. You might still be in charge of that. You don't have to tell us the truth right now.
I wish I was. That would be really cool.
To
That would be
to
pretty
claim
epic.
like it was me all along.
Yeah, I think it on the 15 minutes of fame are 15 minutes because someone would kill you right after, but it would be pretty impressive.
I like your odds. They're not good odds, but I like them.
How about you,
Yeah,
Valdor?
1 in a million or something.
Okay. I'm a chemistry and biology teacher, and when I don't play Legions, I actually like to play volleyball. I hit the gym a lot when my job and girl allows me to do so. But aside from that, I really buy basically anything when you stamp a Warhammer logo on it. I really like that stuff, especially the books lately. I've read all of the Horus Heresy Legions books, Horus Heresy books for the book series, and also some of the tabletop. I would like to play it a bit more, but time unfortunately is limited. So I mainly collect the boxes and they collect dust in my shelf. But
Have you seen the new Kill Team content?
Yeah,
Oh,
I've
sorry.
seen it, but aside from reading, I haven't got very much out of it. I
fair
started
enough.
1 or 2 boxes of Adeptus Titanicus because I wanted to have at least one of the smaller Titans. But it's a lot of time painting them, building them, and so on.
Yeah,
And
they're
as for
bigger models.
Legions, yeah, it's just an hour or 2 or half an hour you can put in between. You have a little small break. You can play 1 or 2 games, and that fits the schedule a bit more, so to
Sounds good.
speak.
Yeah, I mean the boxed games and the hobby, the painting and modeling is Looking back on it, it's like that's super time consuming, and I don't even have the workspace to facilitate it anymore. Like whereas the game, you can pull out the phone, sit on the couch, or crash before bedtime, and just like play a couple games or sit at the computer. Like it doesn't take near as much effort or time, which is very nice.
Yeah, much more convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. A lot better than that.
I admire the guys that put pictures online of some models they made and painted, and they look gorgeous. And when you hear about that, or you listen to them, I made this that way, I made it that way, and it doesn't sound that difficult. And if you try it for yourself, it's like, oh my god, that's like god level experience and craftsmanship. You need to do that. And your figures always look like shit compared to that, and that's really disappointing.
Yeah, it can be frustrating. Like it's not just a matter like I just put on mix these two colors. Like, well, that in itself is a skill. Sometimes learning how to mix or how to layer, highlight. At this point, I wouldn't have to relearn how to paint, but I'm not as confident in my painting skills as I was when I was actively painting. I did pretty good. I enjoyed my stuff. Nowhere near on the level of Golden Demon or first place competition stuff, but it looked better than just like one thick coat or 3 colors on the model enough to be tabletop. Like I enjoyed taking the time to do it. I just don't have the time in my life to sit down and do that anymore.
Yeah.
And I always think, I look at a box, it's like, man, yeah, I'd like to have an army, but I'll pass.
Yeah.
Or go forward right now.
I mean, your focus shifts, and that's fine. I mean, you got to do something else, and you still can do part of that hobby and like paint 1 or 2 figures, which look really nice, but it's not enough to make a whole army that looks very impressive on a big board. That's just not the time you have.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people are moving to digital to play the board game now. Or like the tabletop, I guess would be the proper way to say it. Like I do tabletop sim, I do 30K, because 30K normally will bankrupt you if you try to build an army, I swear.
Yeah, all the Forge World stuff is really expensive.
Yeah. Forge World will rob you in an alley while you build your army. That's just how it works.
And you'll just accept it. You don't have, that's just the way they are, man. There's just nothing you can do about it.
Exactly. And the problem is that the models look so good, so it almost feels justified.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I love the look of Argyle Tall. His new model is going to be so good. Do I want to get shanked in an alleyway to get him? I don't know.
Probably yes at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely yes, but I can lie to myself and say, maybe I'll say no. So good. I don't know if you've seen Argyle Tall's new model, anyone here, but it is very good. He's holding half of an Ultramarine in his hand, which already sells it to me, because he's in ROM
I just wanted to say that with half an Ultramarine at his feet.
Oh yeah, half in his hand, half at his feet, and he's in ROM mode, which is always good looking.
Do you have to pay extra for because it's like another model in it?
No, but because of how fancy it is one of the more expensive models, which hurts, or will be at least.
Actually, the Forge World pricing, I don't understand. I think when you look at their homepage, some of the Primarchs shift in their pricing.
Oh yeah, none of them are the same.
Sometimes they're more expensive, sometimes they're cheaper, but there seems to be no system behind that. At least none I have ever encountered.
The closest I've been able to figure out is the base. Like, if the base is much more involved or is a bigger set piece, that's the only thing I can take of. Like, that's all the only thing I've been able to come up with.
That might be the main reason behind it, but a lot of them just look random. Like, why is this one an extra $60 over this one?
I mean,
they're the same size.
If Jagatai Khan is on a jet bike, I think that would justify him being more costly. Or Sanguinius.
I don't want him on a jet bike. I want him riding a Land Raider with a sword out. Like that one little bit of lore no one really talks about it, him riding a Land Raider in the battle on top. So dumb. I love them.
I'm also okay if he's on foot. I mean, there's nothing wrong with him being on foot with the Dow, but I feel like if you don't have him on the jet bike, you're doing him a disservice.
Wasn't there a piece of lore where Angron actually rode atop of the Conqueror when they were facing the Ultramarines?
I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't remember that.
I think there was. What's the one book where Horus tries to assemble all of the traitor Primarchs It's shortly before the Siege of Terra starts, where they meet at... I forgot the name.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember the title of that one. I don't remember if he was on the Conqueror. I think I'd remember.
Yeah, he
that.
was. Perturabo had to get him.
I'm not doubting you. It's just I don't remember that line. That line is amazing.
It's Slaves to Darkness.
All right.
And I think Perturabo beat the shit out of him. And then he joins the Corps again, and they were attacking some Ultramarines who were heading their direction, and Angron faces them, and he's literally riding Conqueror.
I need to find this exact quote. I want to see
It's Slaves to Darkness.
I mean, but he's in Demon Prince mode at that point, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean that's kind of, I could see it. I could see that. I mean, it's a giant capital starship, but he's in Demon Prince form. He's out in the void. He's just eager. He's so eager to kill skulls that he can't even be contained within the hull of the ship. I could see that.
Yeah, but even that scene, even for Warhammer standard, is like turned on 11.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's flapping his wings in space. Fly me closer.
I hit them with my sword.
Yes.
That's awful. I love that so much.
Well, does anybody have anything to plug? Midnight. You got anything to plug?
Plug?
Plugs.
What's plug?
Talk about your YouTube channel. Are you
Shout out
tricked
your
enough?
YouTube. He's losing consciousness, boys.
Yeah, I think we're catching him right at the verge before he kind of slumps
No,
in his
I'm
chair.
not yet losing consciousness. That needs a lot more than that. YouTube channel.
Yeah, he's
That's
German
not-
and Russian. He can take a lot of alcohol.
Oh, that's a killer combo.
Yeah, I don't know what to say there. I don't know.
A Russian? Was that right? I don't know.
Yes, I'm Russian living in Germany.
Yeah, then I was right. He can take a lot of alcohol.
I can.
His blood is
But
made of it.
I still doesn't change the fact that I didn't eat anything.
You said you had a banana, right?
That's good enough.
Who's the monkey now?
Excellent.
I'm monkey. Thought I was
Still
rat.
You're a fucking monkey. You're a fucking ape.
Wow.
Go face. Face is the place. Me never trade.
I don't even play aggro. I just want to play Ron because he's different than the normal
No,
Imperial
you want to
Fist.
play aggro. You want to go face and never trade.
I play only word bearers, okay?
Yes, you play only word bearers, of course.
Well, I mean, yeah, I built my entire career over only playing word bearers. I play
Your
Logar
career?
and Zardu.
What
Yes,
career?
my career being known as a word bearer player.
I don't know you as a word bearer player. I don't
That's
know
fine.
at all.
You don't need to know me as a word bearer player, but a lot of people do, and that's what matters to me.
But the
Anyway,
word bearers
your
have
YouTube
like,
channel-
don't they have like a cool name as well, like the Iron Father that Mortem can put in front of his name? So maybe you get.
I could probably put something chaplain or like apostle.
Core.
But I don't
You need to
want
put
to.
core in front of your name. Core Axel.
I don't want to be Core Axel. I'm happy we got
Core.
Zardu. For those who wanted Core Pharaon, I understand, but I like Zardu. I like Zardu a lot.
Axel.
Then there would
I'm
be one in
happy.
the game.
No, I still don't know
Okay.
how we got Zardu before Core Pharaon.
Yeah.
That didn't make sense to me. Like, I
guess
like.
it's the same as with this event where we get Cambodia Silver Fafnir.
It wasn't as one-sided though. It was pretty tight. This one is like one-sided to the extreme. Like I don't even know what the percentage is at this point for victory for Diaz.
I mean, Diaz was decided to be the one for the lowest list legions, and everyone wanted to play him. So
Yeah, character-wise, he's a very cool character. But like you said, like Ran is still alive.
dead.
Yeah. B-side, you got anything to plug?
Stand was awesome.
No, I don't really have like I like all the content creators, so I'll just plug Midnight's YouTube channel, and he always does cool stuff. But there's a few others as well, and then it's cool. And there's also nice stuff about the World Cup in all of those. Not all of those, but some content creators have nice World Cup stuff, so you can see a lot of our games as well.
Educational stuff, funny stuff, World Cup, event. If you want to get good, watch Midnight.
If you want to get like pretty good, like pretty good,
Don't watch him.
Then
No,
don't watch-
you know, you watch. If you want to get like to the top, don't. But if you want to get pretty good, that's the place.
Haku. Haku.
How about you, Valdor? Anything to plug?
Yeah, I have to plug Midnight's channel here as well because I forgot it the last time I was on the internet. But still, he makes solid videos. The decks list he makes, he explains it. He ramps up a little bit, but that's okay. And I want to mention Physics Teacher's channel. He's made this huge library about the decks, which every new player should take a look at. So as for the others, I mean, there are lots of content creators who make some amazing stuff. But I fear I wouldn't do them justice, and I surely would forget one, so I stick with those two.
Fair enough.
Also, I'm afraid of Midnight.
Ah, okay.
Afraid?
Afraid.
Yeah.
And we all
Your ramps, you can get pretty loud.
And also, we're afraid you'll be in front of our door soon.
I have the dedication, I have the funds, I have the mental capabilities. If you fuck with me, the boy's gonna be there.
All right.
I'm not joking.
That was a fearful environment we had to live through during the World Cup.
Well, it's not over yet. We can still win the whole thing.
And endure the fearful environment some weeks more.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, I want to thank you guys for making it on and joining us. I know it's a little different time today, but appreciate Team Germany for taking the time out of their day to be part of the cup. Introduce yourselves and have the chat. Have a drink and a chat.
Thanks for having us, Guft.
All right.
Yes, that was fun.
Yeah.
I was a bit
Thanks a lot.
but multicast, playing games, watching the chat and talking with you, it's hard.
Yeah. All right. Well, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you again. Bye.
Peace out.
Yes, peace out. Thank you. Have a good one.
The sunlight dims.
This has been another episode of the Warp Chatter Podcast. Thank you for listening.
Eternal loyalty!
Burn it! Burn it all!
Well executed!